All right, here's our foot. Guess what? Just like we saw with the femur and the tibia fibula, we're going to see some similarities with the hand. I know, big surprise, right? You guys are all shocked by that this is going to look kind of similar to the hand, right? So this is the foot. This view here, that's on the left-hand side of your page, this is the dorsal view. This is you looking at your foot from the top down. Okay? So if you were standing in the anatomical position and you looked down at your feet with X-ray vision, this is the view that you would see. We have metatarsals. Okay? Metacarpals are for the hand, metatarsals are for the foot. And we're going to number the metatarsals from 1 to 5, just like we did in the hand, starting with the big toe. This is the big toe over here on the right-hand side. How do I know this is the big toe? Because there's only 2 phalanges. Okay? Also because it's bigger. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please notice that metatarsal number 5 also includes this little piece up here. Metatarsal number 5 is kind of long. And it includes this little piece up here, even though it looks like it's drawn that it's a separate thing. Okay. That's metatarsal number 5, this whole thing here. Okay. We have phalanges. Whoops. Didn't mean to go that far. So our phalanges, we are going to number them 1, 2, 3, just like we did in the hand. We're going to number them from proximal to distal, from near to far. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay. All right. So those are our metatarsals and our phalanges. We should be okay with that. Very similar to what we saw in the hand. There are 7 bones here that form the tarsals. Okay. They are arranged, and I'm going to color code them. You can go back and color code them later. But just like with the hand, I would encourage you, if you do color them, make sure you color the same color in both views so that you can follow along with what you're doing. Right, so it helps you. All right, we're going to start here at the back. As you guys have already seen, this big back one here, this is the calcaneus. Those of you who have done the anatomical terms lesson, you know that the anatomical term for heel is calcaneal or calcaneal. Because the bone there that forms our heel joint, that is the calcaneus. It's a big rectangular shaped bone, right, that forms our heel. Sitting on top of the calcaneus is one here that we call the talus. It is actually the talus that touches the tibia to form our ankle joint. Okay. So that's the talus. I know this is the dorsal view because I can see all of the talus sitting over top of the calcaneus. All right, in front of the talus, is this bone called the navicular. If you have Miss O'Leary for sports med and she has taught you the foot, she calls this one the navy boat, because if you look at it from the side, it looks like a boat. Okay. That is the navicular. In front of the navicular, we have these 3, 1, 2, 3, underneath metatarsal 1, underneath metatarsal number 2, and underneath metatarsal number 3. These are called the cuneiforms, and we're going to number them 1, 2, 3. So the one under metatarsal number 1 is the first cuneiform. The one under metatarsal number 2 is the second cuneiform. The one underneath metatarsal number 3 is the third cuneiform. I do want you to number them 1, 2, 3. Okay. Miss O'Leary just calls them all cuneiforms. She does not ask you to number them. I will. Okay. So the first cuneiform is the one here by the first metatarsal. Second one is the one in the middle by the second metatarsal. Third one is this one over here by the third metatarsal. So that leaves us one bone left. It's this one over here. That's called the cuboid. And you can probably guess why it's called the cuboid, because it looks very much like a cube. Okay? Cuboid. And remember, this little piece here, this is actually part of metatarsal number 5. Okay? So That's why it's not colored. Okay, so that is our foot. I'll give you a moment to catch up. And while I give you a moment to catch up, okay, let's see. We have 14 phalanges plus 5 metatarsals is 19 bones plus 7 is 26. So there's 26 bones in each foot. That means there's 52 bones between your 2 feet. There are 27 bones in each hand. It means there's 54 bones between your 2 hands. So 52 bones between the feet, 54 bones in the hands. That means 106 of the 206 bones in your body are either belonging to the hand or the foot. Okay? More than half of the bones in our body belong to either hand or foot. That's pretty crazy. Right? So pretty crazy to think about that. All right, we're going to turn the foot over here and we're going to label these guys from the other side. So I'm going to take these labels away in 3, 2, 1. Right. This is looking at the plantar view. So this is looking at your foot from underneath. The bottom surface of your foot is called the plantar surface, for those of you who have done your anatomical terms unit. Okay. So this is the plantar view. These are still your metatarsals. Even though I'm not going to put the label up here, these are still your metatarsals. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. See, number 5 kind of extended out over here. These are still your phalanges. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now we can see all of the calcaneus. Okay. So this is all of the calcaneus here. The talus is kind of underneath it. Okay, so that's what this one is here. This is the talus. And in front of the talus, we have the navicular. So there's our navicular. And in front of the navicular, we have the 3 cuneiforms. Here we can only see a small portion of cuneiform number 2. Before I put the colors in here, notice, and you can only see a small sliver here of cuneiform number 2. That's because your cuneiforms here help form the arch of your foot. And this one, number 2, kind of looks like a trapezoid, right, that sits on top of the other 2 to help form that arch. So this one here, this is cuneiform number 1. Then there's a small sliver of cuneiform number 2. And there's cuneiform number 3. And the last one over here, this is the cuboid. So there it is. There's our foot. I'll give you a moment and then we'll take a look at the foot under the camera. And we'll see how the foot, how the talus fits together with the tibia. Show you all of that. Here's our foot. All right, I'm going to take these away in 3, 2, 1. Let's look under the camera. See what these guys look like. Okay. So here's our foot. Okay. This is the dorsal surface. I can see all of the talus here. I can only see part of the calcaneus underneath. Okay. So this is looking at my foot from the top down. Metatarsals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See how number 5 is bigger here at the end? Okay. Phalanges. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Even though they're kind of little. Okay. So this is the calcaneus, the big rectangular one. This is your heel. Okay. This is the talus. The talus has this rounded projection on the top. That's where the tibia is going to sit. I'll show you that in just a moment. In front of the talus, here's the navicular. It looks like a boat. Okay. And then your 3 cuneiforms. Cuneiform number 1, cuneiform number 2, cuneiform number 3. And the next one over here, this is the cuboid. If I flip it over and I look at the plantar surface, Okay, so this is looking at my foot from underneath. Still metatarsals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still phalanges. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, etc. Okay. But now I can see all portion of this is talus. I can only see a small portion of it because it sits underneath now the calcaneus. This is cuneiform number 1. There you can see a little sliver here of cuneiform number 2. Here's cuneiform number 3. There's the cuboid. Okay. So that's our foot. How does it fit together with the tibia? Okay. Here's our ankle joint. So here's the tibia. Remember, here's the medial malleolus. Okay. This is the talus. It's locked into the bottom of the tibia by the medial malleolus on one side and the lateral malleolus from the fibula on the other side. Okay. So really, my ankle just helps me go up and down here. Okay. I can't do all sorts of other funky movements like I can with my wrist. Okay. Well, that's because we put a lot of weight on this joint here to help us walk. So the bony structures have evolved and adapted here in the talus tibia joint. That is our ankle. So that's our foot.